Happy Monday, and welcome to another episode of Cases That Should Have Gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Today we're talking about anti-SLAPP litigation. Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Ahmed Bouragba was involved in defamation litigation with the Ontario College of Teachers. And in the process of that litigation, an application was filed to dismiss the claim on the basis that it violated the Anti-SLAPP Law, that it was essentially strategic litigation against public protest. Under the rules of court, once such an application is filed, no steps can be taken to pursue the matter in any way in the underlying action until the anti-SLAPP action is determined. The anti-SLAPP application was initially dismissed, the case was ordered to proceed, that decision was appealed, and ultimately the case was dismissed on the basis that it did violate the rule against public protest litigation and defamation cases. And this case raises a very important issue, because if you can't allow somebody to take any steps whatsoever in the case, you also can't, as was the problem in this case, allow them to take steps to just discontinue the proceedings. The whole point of the anti-SLAPP litigation process is to get cases dismissed that shouldn't go to trial in a defamation action because they're just designed to exhaust resources and to essentially stop people from protesting publicly. But if the end that is sought to be achieved, that is the action going away, can be done while the anti-SLAPP litigation is taking place, then isn't that better for everybody? That saves court time, that saves costs, that saves resources, and ultimately it achieves what people want, which is to say that we're not taking the position that this is defamation and that this is not defamation, and we're not going to pursue this as a defamation action any further. Unfortunately, the way the rules of court operate in Ontario prevented this from happening. And this raises very important concerns about the preservation of significant judicial resources and the integrity of the system, because costs awards often follow successful outcomes in anti-SLAPP applications. It essentially exposes people who file defamatory actions and then say, you know what, I've changed my mind, I'm not going to pursue this any further, to take greater risk in respect of costs awards and to incur further expense, especially if they're initially successful in allowing the litigation to proceed and then those decisions are overturned. And shouldn't the presumptions and the court rules operate against prolonging proceedings and making them more complex by essentially having all these different pieces of fruit hanging out there at any various point in time? Shouldn't the justice system be concerned about economy, both of its own resources as well as the resources of litigants? And ultimately, doesn't this just really give the appearance more of punishing people who bring defamation actions without a legitimate basis for doing so than protecting people's rights to free expression on matters of public interest, which is supposed to be the point of the litigation? All of these things were important issues that the Supreme Court of Canada could have addressed, and unfortunately they missed an opportunity to really clarify the fairness of a process that could now be wielded unfairly against people who bring unfair defamation actions in the first place. Unfairness should not be fought with unfairness. Hopefully the Supreme Court of Canada takes an opportunity to hear a case like this in the future and to decide a way to streamline these proceedings so that they can be resolved quickly in circumstances where somebody who is met with an anti-SLAPP application decides to discontinue the proceedings. Cases that should have gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Cases That Should Have Gone to the Supreme Court of Canada, but didn't. I'm Kyla Lee at Acumen Law. Thank you to Brazenbull Creative for putting together these videos. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends.